Hey guys, Austin here with the Maker's Dimension. Here with me I have the Railcore II, the fully assembled kit from Project Red. They sell this thing in a kit and they sell it in a fully assembled form. So this one here came all ready to go, fresh out of the box. All I had to do was pretty much plug it in and set up my slicer, slice, and print. Oh, I do want to say before getting started on this was completely out of my pocket. I've never heard of Project Red before. I just happened to stumble across a Railcore video on YouTube. I believe it was from Tony. Then Joel put out a video on it. I happened to see it that he was using it in one of his other videos, and I was like, what is that? I gotta have one. So why don't I go through and give you guys a close-up on a couple of the parts on this machine. Get you a real good feel of what actually comes with it. Now one thing, just so you're aware, that this tubing is the pallet tubing. It's not the actual tubing that comes with it. It comes with the smaller diameter PTFE tubing. It's routed the same way. You feed your filaments up through this line. This one's just a larger diameter for the pallet. And then I designed a coupling to basically go from the large to the small so that it fits in the Bondtech extruder. Now one thing that does seem to have changed is that my unit came with the IR probe. I see now that they're sending out with the BL Touch as far as I can tell, according to their listing on their site. A lot of people like the actual mechanical switch better than the infrared. To me, the infrared works just fine so far. I can't really say anything bad about it. Now what I opted for in my kit was the mosquito hot end, just the standard mosquito. It does come with the hardened nozzle from E3D. So far, a lot of people say they have issues with it, with like retractions and stuff. I get a little stringing, but I wouldn't say it's anything obnoxious. It's just a little here and a little there once I got it dialed in. Definitely manageable. As far as extruders go, it comes with the Bondtech BMG, so real good extruder right out the gate. Honestly, I can't think of a better extruder than a Bondtech from what I've used. So this comes with a Canovo 120 volt, 750 watt heated bed. It actually heats this bed up pretty quick. Now for linear rails, it's got Ziltech linear rails all the way throughout this thing. There's your 3-axis Z-axis. Here are your machined aluminum X carriages from Mandala Roseworks. Here we have aluminum and stepper idler mounts from 713 Maker. Here are your steppers from E3D, 0.9 degree steppers on your extruder and your X and Ys. Now there are still printed parts on this. The time when I ordered it, they allowed you to order any PLA from Atomic Filaments you wanted for color-wise. I still went with the dark cherry. It's Project Red. I kind of want to support that, and if anybody sees it, know that it's from them guys. And then for your carriage, you have carbon fiber PETG from Atomic Filaments. Strong stuff. So far, my print quality's been absolutely amazing, even though it's with a printed carriage. No issues whatsoever. So here's all the guts, all the electronics. This is with the side panel off, obviously. So here's your Duet Wi-Fi. And here's your DuX5. Now what this is going to let you do is, um, like when the tool changer comes out, it's going to make it so that we can upgrade to a tool changer in the future, if you so choose. Definitely future proofed. Meanwhile, power supply, 24 volt, 350 watt. There's your solid state relay for your heated bed. It's all wired pretty nicely. Now, if you're not completely familiar with the Duet system, the main board, you might want to do a little research on that just to get acquainted with it. Fairly straightforward. So now that we went over the specs of this bad boy, let's just talk about my personal experiences with it. So it came when it was delivered. I mean, this box was big. I actually had to sit down in front of it and take a picture to show my buddies at work how big this thing is. Packaged real well. Unfortunately, me being the one guy in the entire world that you always hear the stupid stories about, the shipping companies just completely obliterating your packages. That's me. Yep. I'm the guy that got eaten by an alligator going out to get his mail, or my package fell off a skyscraper. I don't know. I'm that guy. So I did have a little damage coming in. It pretty much looked like they dropped it off the back of a truck, but I opened it up. I thought it was all good. I did have a couple broken pieces of PLA. Not a big deal. You can find any of the files on Thingiverse for any of the printed parts. Printed the feet back up that were broke, and I had one piece that was busted on the electronics cabinet on the side. Not a big deal. You know, it took an hour to reprint them, and I was back in business. Customer support, these guys are awesome. Anytime I had a question for them, I mean, I'd say I don't think it ever took more than a half an hour, and they got back to me right away. So, excellent job, guys. Really appreciate it. They're on the ball. That Twitter, Facebook, any of them replied pretty much instantly. Now, one thing I do recommend, whether it be from these guys or any other printer, is I always go around when I first get my printer and I make sure all the nuts are tight. Through shipping, a couple of mine were loose. First couple prints, I had a little bit of a wobble. Some of my carriage nuts were loose. No big deal. Tighten them up. Good to go. It's just good practice to make sure everything's set up properly before you really get going. It's normally something I do. There were a couple bolts that I guess I didn't really realize were in there. Had I had the kit, I would have known that, but tightened them up and had no problems ever since. As far as prints go, awesome. Definitely awesome. So I have a couple pieces here. I'll just bring them up to the camera, I guess. Hopefully I can get a good focus on them. So this is a vase in vase mode. And it is beautiful. I mean, it's thin enough I can see my finger through this stuff. This is Ziltech bronze. And it's durable, just off the one layer. Now for this guy here, some of you guys might have seen some of my pictures up on Facebook and on Twitter. So this is Ziltech wood. This is with one outside perimeter layer, and it is gorgeous. There are hardly any layer lines in this whatsoever. One thing that a couple people have been saying is the fan on it, the cooling fan, is way overkill for PLA. Yeah, it is. I've used it on other projects. It's a blower style fan. Normally, PLA wise, I run it at 30, and what I do is I up it to 50 for a bridge. And some of my maker coins that I've been doing, normally I have to have a support on the bottom. Not with this thing. I just have it do the override to 50% for overhangs, and I can completely do this without overhangs. That's the bottom of this guy. You can see just a slight sag off of it, but I mean, that's awesome. That's a good print. Here's the top, also the Ziltech wood. Now the auto leveling bed system on this is awesome. I'll show you guys how that works. But basically you have a 3-axis system, and what it'll do is it'll probe the 3 spots, the 2 on this side and the 1 on this side, and what it'll do is it'll compensate for any of that variance between them, and once it probes the 3 points, it'll auto level that bed. Let me show you how that auto leveling works real quick. So what I'm going to do is just kind of mess with my my level a bit. That way I can show you how it works. So what I'm going to do is start out with homing, and we'll home the printer. Alright, now that we're all homed out, we just hit the bed leveling button. And what that'll do is it'll probe 3 points on the bed, and then after it's done probing, it'll auto level it, and then we'll be good to go. There you go, you can see it tilt back, leveling the bed, and we're ready to start printing. So as awesome as this is stock, I can't say honestly anything bad about it. 713 maker, Mandala Roseworks, I'm sure they're going to keep coming up with new components for this. I do have a Wham Bam magnetic plate coming. I was in on their Kickstarter. That should be coming hopefully anytime here. 713 maker just came out with magnetic heat beds, where it's actually got the magnets embedded inside of the plate. So I ordered one of them. I guess we'll see which one comes first. I'm probably going to end up using that heat bed, and then I'll use the Wham Bam plate on top. I don't know. We'll see. If nothing else, I'll order another flex plate, still use that heated bed, and use the Wham Bam setup on something else. I also ordered the CNC'd carriage parts from 713 maker as well. I haven't put them on yet. That's something I'm going to put on there. Do I feel it really needs it? Not really, but anything that's going to give it a little bit of extra bling and a little bit of extra strength, I'm doing it. So, does it need it? No. Am I going to do it? Oh yeah. One thing I see a lot of people questioning is with the panel do, if you can use the SD card slot in it. As far as I'm aware, I don't think there's really a way to do it. The last time I tried doing a build on my TiVo Little Monster, upgrading it to the Duet system, going that length with an SD cord wasn't going to work. I don't see it working on this either. I have a feeling that's why it's not included on it. Your configuration, changing, any of that, best bet is to do it off the web interface. There's a couple people that use Octoprint hooked up to this. I didn't really realize it was possible, but to me, the web interface on the Duet is way better than the Octoprint. But that's my opinion. Other people might feel differently about it. So a couple of tools you might want for this is a 5.5 millimeter nut driver. All these nuts around here are all 5.5 millimeter. You get your setup. What I would do is, I mean, regardless whether you get a kit or the actual assembled system, that's what the nuts are. It just makes it so much easier than trying to use a socket. A lot of places you can't even get a socket really into. So that just makes life a million times easier. And then obviously you have your Allen wrenches, all metric. Now, what's my overall verdict on this guy considering the price? To me, it's definitely a buy. It's not a buy for everybody. The price is a little steep, but what you get for that price is a lot of printer and a lot of good prints out of this thing. Honestly, I don't have another printer that prints this well. My TiVo Little Monster, there's no way I probably don't have $1,500 stuck in that thing on top of what the kit costs just in parts. This thing will destroy that. And this thing prints fast. So a lot of these prints that I have, like this Benchy and this Sir Layers a lot, the Benchy was at 80 millimeters a second, and that's with wood fill. So, I mean, awesome. This vase here, I believe I had this cranked up to 120. So as far as ordering this from Project Red, you have nothing to worry about ordering from these guys. These guys are top-notch printer. There's a lot of support for it already on Facebook. You can get a hold of Tony. Tony does a lot of videos, and he working on the E3D tool changer right now, implementing it into this. Now, I do own printers that are more expensive than this. As far as print quality goes, this still just beats the crap out of them. It's not really a competition as far as I'm concerned. Between the speed and the accuracy of it, it's a monster. I really honestly don't have anything bad to say about it. Head on over to Project Red and pick one up today. Later, guys.